5 lies you were probably taught in schools. Number 1. Columbus was awesome sauce. We're all told at school that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and in so doing, he showed that the Earth was in fact round, not flat as been assumed before he sailed over what would have been the edge. Actually, the Earth was proven to be round more than 2,000 years before Columbus' time. Eratosthenes, a Greek scholar, had performed accurate calculations of the Earth's circumference as well as measuring the tilt of the Earth's axis. Oh dear, that's one down for Columbus. But despite this, there is a Columbus Day in celebration of the great man, presumably for his discovery of America. But the thing is, he didn't discover America at all. In fact, he's never even been there. Long after the Vikings, the Romans, and the Scottish had been to America, Christopher Columbus' ship docked on the Bahamas. The reason he landed in the wrong place? Because he got the maths wrong. All that time after Eratosthenes managed to work it out, Columbus got the same calculations wrong and ended up in the wrong place. That's another one down for Columbus. Columbus is said to be a hero, what with having his own day and all, but in fact he was a ruthless leader and slave trader in the colonies he established in Hispaniola, an island in the Caribbean. The people got together to rise up against Columbus, who was exiled to Spain in chains. Number 2. Stars burn. Although stars look as though they are massive balls of fire, they're actually not. We know that it actually really does look as though the sun is burning in this picture, but we can assure you that it's just an illusion. Stars aren't even made up of flaming gas at all. In fact, they're formed from hydrogen, which is in its plasma state. This happens when the gas gets super hot and ionizes. The gravitational force caused by the mass of the star causes the star's temperature to rise enormously. The nucleus of each hydrogen atom which makes up the star join together to form one big helium nucleus. The process creates a lot of energy, which is actually sunshine. The nuclei join continuously until they form all sorts of elements, even iron. It is these elements that are thrown out into space when a star dies. The elements then go on to become the basis of everything else in the universe. Even the elements inside your own body were originally made in the center of a star. Number 3. Hippies were dirty, immoral Satan worshippers. During the 1960s, some people tried to convince others that hippies were living in an immoral way and causing a danger to society. They even said that rock and roll music was dangerous and should be avoided. This paranoia didn't end with the 60s though. A textbook upholding these beliefs has been reported to be in use in a Louisiana school. The book claims that the young people of the 60s fell into drug taking, called themselves hippies, and stopped having a shower. The textbook denounces the scruffy attire of the hippies, which was brightly colored and different from the normal clothes of the day. The writers claim that the hippies were rude and determined to undermine society's values, saying that the hippies took part in orgies and worshiped the devil. The book also had a problem with the type of music the hippies listened to, as well as the artists themselves, saying they were part of the cults which worship Satan. Perhaps it was the writers of this textbook that started off the rumor that if you play a Queen record backwards, you'll hear a message telling you to smoke cannabis. I mean, of course you do. Number 4. Climate change is a massive hoax scientists have perpetuated on the public. The American Legislative Exchange Council is responsible for attempting to have climate change denial lessons as part of the everyday teaching in American schools. They say that it is a legitimate scientific theory and as such should be taught to the youngsters of the country. The council has been successful in both Texas and Louisiana, where students are now taught that climate change is not necessarily a major issue and perhaps doesn't exist. Utah and South Dakota have followed suit, teaching that climate change denial is a valid scientific stance. The rest of America has decided, for now, to teach the issue in the same way that creationism is taught, that it is something which is debated, but for which there is not necessarily a scientific argument. The whole argument that climate change denial could be a scientific viewpoint is actually far from reality. A 2004 review of 928 studies, which had been published over 10 years ending in 2003, concluded that climate change cannot be denied and that the most probable cause of climate change was man-made. If you were to argue that climate change could be some sort of controversy, then you'd be going up against the majority of the world's scientists. If climate change denial is taught in schools, then what we're actually teaching children is that it is okay to believe in conspiracy theories. Number 5. Racism has barely been an issue in U.S. history, and slavery wasn't that big a deal. When the Thomas B. Fordham Institute looked into the social studies standards in Texas, they discovered that there was a disturbing lack of factual information being taught. In fact, they found that the information about the causes of the Civil War were seriously lacking, with slavery downgraded as a cause in favor of sectionalism and states' rights, when in fact, These arguments came from the insistence of the southern states not to make slavery illegal. The schools also make out that racism following the Civil War was not a major issue. Frighteningly, the social studies standards make no reference to the Ku Klux Klan, the black codes of Jim Crow. Children are told that the Democrats in the South were not in favor of civil rights, but they are not told that large numbers of Democrats moved to the Republicans in order to get at the Democrats who were behind civil rights. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe.